While some districts scramble to submit or resubmit reopening plans to Albany, others are well on their way to talking with families in their districts about what school will look like in September. One of those districts, Central Square. Superintendent Tom Calabufo joining us live this morning. Tom, thanks for being here with us this morning. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that you have done that I think is really helpful, innovative, is you have already released a video of what the day is going to look like. How'd you come up with this idea, and what are you really hoping to accomplish by it? And we're gonna show some of it throughout the interview here of just what you guys have put together.
Well, we put a live Google document out to all the parents in our district. So it went out to 9,000 total people. And one of the things that they wanted was a video of what in-person would look like at the elementary level. I have an amazing elementary admin team, and they put this together.
So I'm guessing that it is aimed at both parents and students, and what we're looking at right now is the very beginning. When you get on the bus, you get your temperature taken. Anybody with a fever that's 100 or more, you stay home. You get on the bus. You want them sitting more towards the window. So this is probably for both the kids and the parents. And here we are coming up to when you get to your room.
Yes. And these are all of our administrators, and Aaron Phillips, our head of elementary.
What do you think this does, though, for parents and students? Really kind of demystify what this is going to look like? I'm sure there's got to be a lot of nervousness out there.
Oh, absolutely. That's why we put the plan out about 2.5 weeks before the July 31 deadline, is we wanted parents to be able to sit with their children and be able to go over things so they could have a clearer picture, kind of beginning with the end in mind. They could sit down, they could look at what the expectations were, and they could decide, is this what they want, or do they want to go 100% distance learning?
Now, I have heard from other superintendents, Dr. Desiato, who we have on quite regularly. She told me the other day, communication, 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 so key with these plans. Even the governor's talked about it. You've been pretty steady answering parents' questions. What are some of the ones you're getting more frequently? Questions, concerns, I guess? And here's a look at the classroom.
So, well, about Dr. Desiato, I worked for her for 4 years. She is the best when it comes to communication. So some of the questions that I have received, they want to know, again, the 6-foot rule. So they were pretty adamant that they wanted to make sure that the students would be able to take the masks off when they were 6 feet apart. And we were very clear from the beginning. We are not adding any additional restrictions that what the governor's already imposed upon us. So we are at 10 or 12, depending on the square footage. Most of our rooms are 770 square footage, which would give us 12 students in a classroom. That was probably one of the biggest ones. They also wanted to know about the temperature checks, making sure it happened before the kids actually got on the bus, and what we would do if a child actually had a temperature of 100 degrees. So we're going over all of that with the parents.
And when we looked at that classroom video, one of the things you're doing there is, as long as, to make sure we're clear here, as long as they're spread out 6 feet or more in the classroom, when they're seated, they can take their mask off in Central Square.
100%. I don't want to put a plan in place that I know is going to fail. I can't imagine a child of 6, 7, 8 years old expected to wear a mask for the entire bus ride. Because remember, we have 200 square miles. Our district spans 3 counties. To think that they're going to wear a mask on the bus and then they're going to wear a mask the entire time, even with periodic breaks, all you have to do is go to Wegmans, Walmart, Home Depot, and you see the battle that some parents have trying to keep that mask on. We don't want that to interfere with instruction. So we're doing basically what the Onondaga County executive does, or Governor Cuomo does, 6 feet apart, take your mask off.
What are you hearing from teachers and staff? Because the governor has said regularly, no matter what your plan is and how good it is or what it entails, if the teachers, staff, and the students don't show up, you're not opening your doors, you're distance learning. So what are you hearing from the teachers so far?
Luckily, we have a really good relationship with the Central Square Teachers Association. The leadership, we talk regularly. And I think that they would be more concerned if we were packing 100 students in auditoriums and cafeterias and running 6 classes in there, or putting 25 kids in a classroom and making them wear a mask, because then they become the mask enforcer instead of the teacher. So I think they're as happy as you could possibly be, given the parameters of working in a pandemic. But I think that they realize we're putting the measures in place to protect them as well.
One last question for you. How fluid are these plans, or are they pretty rigid, or do you expect some modifications as we get to the first day, first week, second week?
No, I think they're pretty fluid. That's the way that all the superintendents interpreted that they will change. We know right now that Again, I talked to literally over 1,000 parents since I gave my work cell phone number out 4 weeks ago. And the biggest thing that some parents were saying that some were going to start their children, but then they wanted to know if they could pull their children if they were apprehensive. And I said, absolutely. This is customer service, and everybody at Central Square understands that the customer is the student and their parents, and we want to make them as comfortable as possible.
We'll have to pick up this conversation again. We're out of time for this morning, but so much more to talk about, and still a few more weeks, obviously, before that first day. But Central Square Superintendent Tom Cablufo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff. Have a good day.
Good conversation. You too. Thanks so much. And we'll be right back.